This is the first time we've seen in Lebanon a suicide bombing linked to the war in Syria. Do you think we're looking at a major turning point here?
It is a major turning point indeed, in the sense that now Al-Qaeda or affiliated with Al-Qaeda have targeted strongholds that would be within the military zone of Hezbollah and the Iranian embassy. That's the highest they could reach. The concern is that this could be the beginning of a wave, not just the wave by itself. And as we all know, this is a result of two alliances, one Hezbollah ally to the Assad regime operating in Syria, and another one, jihadists out of Lebanon, allies to their own colleagues in Syria, both fighting now on Lebanese soil.
What more is known about the group that claimed responsibility for these attacks? We know that they're Lebanese, and we know that they're Sunni, and they have links to Al-Qaeda. What kind of history do they have, and how powerful are they inside Lebanon?
There is not much information about the group that executed per se, but basically this is part of the vast network of Salafi Jihadists, which have many names and are linked to, for example, eventually to al-Nusra inside Syria, or to the state of Iraq and Sham that operates also inside Syria. We have to understand that the jihadists in three countries, there will be in Lebanon, in Syria, and Iraq, are all linked, and at some point, at some altitude, you have Al-Qaeda International backing them. We don't really have information about the executioners of this operation.
Now, we've seen the war in Syria has inflamed sectarian tensions in Lebanon for a while now. This is one of the more serious attacks. How worried are you about Lebanon sliding back into a sectarian conflict or even a civil war?
Well, what is happening is in fact a fight between two ideological movements. They are claiming that they're representing their own communities. Hezbollah definitely has very, big influence inside the Shia community. And the jihadists are claiming that they are defending the Sunnis. But to say that the Shia and the Sunni are fighting against each other, that would be different from what has happened during the years of the war. But definitely with this violence occurring today, it tells us one thing, that the Lebanese state as a whole does not control anymore its territory, which means that there should be an action to be done, at least suggested by the international community. What we're hearing here in Washington and to some extent in Brussels is that we need to secure the Lebanese-Syrian borders. If we don't secure them, more of these actions may take place. And second, what I've heard today is that there should be an initiative to secure areas inside Lebanon, away from Hezbollah and away from the Salafi Jihadists.
Now, Iran's reaction today has been one of shock. The foreign minister saying that this is a tragedy for us all. Do you think Iranian assets might be targeted more frequently in the future?
That's the essence of this action. This is the actual message that we can reach you. That would be Al-Qaeda or the jihadists telling the Iranian regime, we can actually reach your Iranian embassy inside the sacred security zone of Hezbollah. That's a very, very strategic message. So the Iranians, of course, are concerned about being targeted in other areas inside Lebanon and in the region as well.
Walid Phares, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for having me.